What's going on? It's Jason Heath, and I have been having such a wonderful time digging into Sidney King's Hazelhurst Suite. It's for solo double bass. It's written in 5 movements. You can play them all together. You can play each one on their own. They have such wonderful style and character. They sit really well on the bass, and they're available for sale in our sheet music store. So I'm going to dig into this piece and show you what I love so much about it in today's video. We dig into topics like this every week on our email newsletter. If you're not on the list, consider subscribing.
Hazelhurst Suite is an unaccompanied piece that I actually wrote its incidental music to a live theater play that I was asked to write back in 2011. And I turned into a solo suite, 5-movement suite, and oh goodness, it's getting performances all over the country.
This first movement, the prelude, called it Zany Blues. I just love the way it sits on the bass, and as a he writes for the bass is just so ergonomic, might be a word for it. It really does sit very well on the instrument. You can tell a wonderful bass player is writing this music, and there's so much interpretive quality. I mean, you can take so much time with these slides. And I, at least hear to my ears, I hear some thematic consistency through all 5 of these movements, so you can tell that they were written for the same event, although they all stand quite well on their own. Really cool syncopations if we get into like measure 19 and beyond. And so many different places where you could play this on the bass. You could certainly keep going after that D harmonic. In fact, I kind of like that. I'm kind of in the early stages of learning this, so I'm trying to map out where I want to do all these on the bass. Really cool broken arpeggios like this business getting into 32. So fun.
One of my primary applications for using Hazelhurst Suite, the unaccompanied piece, is when I go into schools and I play, and it's unaccompanied and it's just a self-contained unit. I like to use Dave Anderson's 4 solo pieces again, which I'm proud to say I commissioned him to write way back in 1994. That unaccompanied setting is so useful to share for a string class at a school, or for a collection of senior citizens at a retirement village, or perhaps at family gatherings after Thanksgiving dinner when everybody's going into food coma. Okay, I can entertain them with some bass, and I don't have to get a pianist over to do it. I can just do that.
No matter what you're working on the bass, you're going to need some rosin that will get the job done, and I have been having such a blast using the rosin from today's sponsor, Upton Bass. Their maple rosin looks a little bit like Pops, but a little bit darker, like a mixture of Pops and Carlson, and I have been having a blast using their Maple Plus. To me, it's even a little closer to Pops, maybe a little bit softer. We were passing around a cake at the San Francisco Symphony when I was subbing a couple weeks ago, and I just really enjoy the consistency and the bite of both of those. And they also have their honey rosin, which is like a finishing rosin. Really big fan of what Upton does, and check them out, and thank you for sponsoring the video. So the second movement, the romance, and again, very different character for all of these. I love these little and you'll hear that throughout this movement, and also in some of the other movements, that little mordant, is that what the word is for that? I should know what the word is for that. And And Sid has such a wonderful lyricism to his writing, as well, and you'll see this even more as we get deeper into the piece, this great rhythmic vibrancy to his writing. He has been involved in flamenco music for years and years and years, though this does not sound flamenco to my ears, but it definitely has. Probably it's inevitable that some of that will bleed over, and just the way that he treats rhythm on the bass and in a solo bass situation, I just find really catchy. After I practice this piece, I find myself walking the dog and just humming these little segments. In this third movement, the Storm, you get the same figure that we had in the second movement, but treated a little bit differently, and some really cool arpeggiations. Again, it all sits very well on the bass. And then this really great build-up, almost reminds me of like the way Beethoven connects movements together. And then I really like the way that this sits on the bass using these open Ds. Again, really cool, very jazzy and changing styles, but all sitting in a comfortable spot on the bass. You can easily figure out where this is going to work for you. There are some options for sure, playing it on different strings and different fingerings, but just really cool writing. I just love this fourth movement, this Elegy, and the lyricism to this is just really, really marvelous and lovely, and so many different options for where you can do this. A great opportunity to explore vibrato and just expressivity on the bass. Those tritones, those diminished figures, again, there's some thematic consistency to these movements, even though the character is all different.
I'm certainly not a flamenco by birth, but that music just really moves me, and I've had a lot of experience performing flamenco through the years.
And this dance is just a blast to play. I really love the rhythmic character of this, and it starts with this short introduction right here. He starts to get into the fast part. It's really cool development, and I love this connective tissue in this piece. So fun to play, and then these really cool time signature changes. This playful section is super fun. Again, a work in progress under my fingers, so I'm going to play it a little slower today. And we get a little quote from the first movement right there, that little slide. that is one of so many wonderful pieces by Sidney King. He has a beautiful new website where he has his pieces for sale, and he's adding more titles to our sheet music store on a regular basis. So definitely check out this great artist if you haven't dug into his music. So much wonderful music for the bass, for solo bass and other instruments, and way beyond the bass as well. If you enjoyed this video, check out what we've got linked up here, and we'll see you in the next one.